All stories published by Epic Yarn are fictional works intended for mature audiences. These narratives are submitted by a diverse community of contributors and subscribers created solely for entertainment and storytelling purposes. They do not represent real events or individuals, and no claims of factual accuracy are made. Additionally, all accompanying images are generated using AI technology to visually enhance the fictional experience.
Chapter 1. The First Rep. Kevin Brown pushed open the gym doors and was instantly hit with the tang of sweat, iron, and testosterone. The place throbbed with energy, metal clanging, music pounding, bodies moving like well-oiled machines. He hesitated for just a second, scanning the room until he spotted the front desk. "New member?" asked a woman with a headset and a clipboard. "Yeah, Kevin Brown. Signed up online." She smiled, handed him a clipboard, and nodded toward the back of the gym. "Harry will do your intake and set your program." Kevin turned his head, and that's when he saw him. Harry White. The man looked like he'd been carved out of stone and polished with sweat. Tall, broad-shouldered, with biceps that flexed even as he stood still. His dark green eyes scanned the room with a cool, commanding presence. Hair cropped short and neat. A faint shadow across his jawline only enhanced the hard lines of his face. He wore a fitted black tank top that clung to his chest and torso like it worshipped him. Kevin took a breath and made his way over. "You Harry?" he asked, voice casual. The man looked him over, eyes flicking down Kevin's lean frame and back up. "Yeah, I'm Kevin. New member." Harry didn't shake his hand, just nodded and turned. "Follow me." Kevin raised an eyebrow but trailed after him, weaving between lifting platforms and mirror-lined walls. They stopped near the squat racks. "You work out much?" Harry asked, grabbing a clipboard. "Mostly outdoors. Hiking, bouldering, that sort of thing." Harry looked him over again, slower this time. "So, cardio guy." Kevin smirked. "You say that like it's a problem." "Not a problem," Harry said, writing something down. "Just means we'll have to start with the basics. Build some real strength." Kevin's brow arched. "You think I'm weak?" Harry met his gaze head-on. "I think you've got endurance, but not power. And here, we train for power." That word, power, hung in the air between them. Kevin didn't blink. "All right then," Kevin said coolly. "Show me power." The first set was brutal. Squats, deadlifts, pull-ups until Kevin's arms burned. Harry didn't talk much, just gave orders, corrected form, and pushed harder with every rep. He stood close, intimidatingly close, the heat of his body, the musk of his sweat, almost distracting. His voice was low, confident, and merciless. Kevin gritted through it all, determined not to crack. By the end of the session, his shirt was drenched and his legs were jelly. Harry handed him a towel, that same smug glint in his eye. "Not bad," he said. "For a hiker." Kevin smirked, breathless. "You always this charming?" Harry's lips curved into something that was almost a smile. "Only when I'm trying." Kevin looked him over, eyes lingering just a second too long on Harry's shoulders. "Right. Well, next time maybe try harder." Harry's eyes darkened, and Kevin turned away, heart thudding faster than the workout should have allowed. He didn't look back, but he could feel Harry watching him walk away. Chapter 2. One more set. Kevin came back the next day. He told himself it was for the workout, for the challenge, for the promise he'd made to himself not to quit anything he started. But when he walked into the gym and spotted Harry White across the floor, arms folded, eyes already locked on him, Kevin knew it wasn't just about fitness anymore. It was about proving something. Harry stalked over, clipboard in hand. "Didn't think you'd show." Kevin tilted his head, feigning innocence. "That confidence thing, is it part of the training?" Harry's mouth twitched, but he didn't smile. "It's part of the job. Come on. Bench press today." Kevin followed. The gym was loud, but it all felt hushed between them, like the noise didn't quite reach where they were standing. Harry adjusted the weights, then stood over the bench as Kevin slid underneath the bar. "Grip wider," Harry said, voice low. "Good. Tighten your core. I'm spotting you." Kevin glanced up, the bar overhead, and saw Harry leaning in, towering, focused, all muscle and command. Those green eyes locked onto him, and Kevin felt a different kind of heat flood his body. The first few reps went smooth. Then Harry added more weight. Kevin grunted, chest burning, arms shaking. The bar wobbled. "Come on." Harry said, his voice firmer now. Push. Kevin strained against it, teeth clenched. The bar inched up, slow, brutal, a war of muscle and will. Don't stop, Harry murmured. You've got more. Kevin racked the weight and sat up, chest heaving. Sweat clung to his skin, soaking through the light gray shirt. You enjoy watching people suffer, don't you? He said, catching his breath. Harry handed him water. Only when they have more in them than they think. Kevin looked at him, really looked. That 5 o'clock shadow. The sharp angle of his jaw. The easy way he stood, so sure of himself. A man used to being the one in control. What about you? Kevin asked. You ever leave this place? Harry blinked, a flash of something flickering in his expression. Confusion, maybe. Or curiosity. Not often. Kevin stood and wiped the sweat from his face. Figures. Harry raised an eyebrow. Figures. Yeah. Kevin stepped in closer, just a little, just enough. You live in your kingdom of mirrors and metal. Control the weights, the routine, the people. But outside of this, I bet you're lost. The air thickened. Harry didn't flinch, but the tension between them pulled taut. I'm not lost anywhere, Harry said evenly. Kevin smiled, slow and knowing. Want a bet? A pause. Then Kevin leaned in, his voice a whisper just for Harry. Come hiking with me. This weekend. Snow's already thick in the backcountry. 40 miles east, off the grid. 2 days. 1 night in the cold. Harry blinked, taken aback. You serious? Kevin stepped back, stretching his arms behind his head. You said I need to build power. Let's see if you've got any endurance. Harry laughed once, a short exhale, almost disbelieving. You're insane. Maybe, Kevin said, turning to leave. But at least I don't confuse dominance with depth. Harry stood there, stunned silent. Kevin didn't look back, but this time, he knew Harry was watching him walk away. Chapter 3, Frostbite and Fire. The trailhead was buried under a fresh layer of snow. Kevin tightened the straps on his pack and glanced sideways at Harry, who was adjusting his gloves with a stiffness that had nothing to do with the cold. His face was set, jaw clenched, lips in a thin line. He looked like a man trying hard not to regret a decision. You sure you're good? Kevin asked, shouldering his pack. Harry shot him a look. I don't back down. Kevin grinned. Didn't ask if you were backing down. I asked if you were good. Harry didn't answer, just started walking. The first few miles were manageable. Snow dusted the evergreens, sunlight glittered through branches, and their boots crunched steadily on the frozen path. Kevin moved with practiced ease, navigating inclines, pointing out trail markers. Harry kept pace, but he was quiet, rigid. Too quiet. Kevin didn't push. Not yet. By hour 4, the trail narrowed into a steep incline. Kevin scaled it easily, breathing evenly despite the altitude. Harry lagged, muscles tense, cheeks flushed red from cold and effort. You okay back there? Kevin called. I said I'm good. You don't look good. Harry stopped halfway up the ridge, hands on his knees, breath clouding the air. This isn't hiking. This is punishment. Kevin descended a few steps to meet him, tilting his head. This is normal. You're just used to padded floors and climate control. Harry looked up at him, face slick with sweat despite the chill. You smug bastard. Kevin just smiled. Come on, tough guy. We've got 2 more miles before camp. They reached the site just before sunset. A flat clearing tucked between pine trees, snow-packed and undisturbed. Kevin got to work immediately, pulling out the tent, clearing space, gathering wood. Harry helped, but slower now, movements deliberate, his usual confidence dulled by the cold creeping into his bones. Once the fire was lit and the tent up, Kevin ducked inside to arrange their sleeping bags, 2 stacked together, insulated for sub-zero. He glanced out to see Harry sitting stiff by the fire, jacket zipped to his throat, eyes locked on the flames like they owed him something. Kevin stepped out and handed him a thermal flask. Drink. You're burning too fast, and not replacing it. Harry took it without a word. His hands shook slightly. Night fell fast. The cold deepened. Inside the tent, Kevin stripped down to his base layer and slid into the sleeping bag. Harry followed, reluctantly, keeping on as much as he could, shirt, thermals, even his damn gloves. But after a few minutes, he started shivering hard enough to make the tent rustle. Kevin turned toward him, voice quiet but firm. Harry. No answer. Kevin sat up, reached over, and touched Harry's arm. His skin was cold, his body stiff. You're not fine, Kevin said. You're freezing. I'll manage. No, you won't. Kevin unzipped the bag. Strip down and get in. Skin to skin is the only way we're getting your temp back up. Harry didn't move. Kevin leaned in, voice softer now, almost a whisper. Jim is your world, but you're in my world now. A beat. Then Harry let out a breath, almost a growl of frustration, and started peeling off his top layers. Kevin helped him in, pulling the sleeping bag closed around them. The heat between their bodies was instant, jarring. Harry's chest was solid and bare beneath the thermal, and Kevin could feel every tense line of muscle as they pressed close. For a while, they didn't speak. Harry's shivering slowed. His breathing evened out. Kevin rested his forehead against Harry's shoulder without thinking. I'm not used to needing help, Harry muttered finally. I know. A long silence. Thanks, Harry said, voice low, gruff, like it hurt to say it. Kevin closed his eyes. You're welcome. In the darkness, wrapped in the warmth of another man's strength, something shifted. It wasn't softness, it was surrender. Not weak, but honest. For the first time, Harry let someone else carry the weight. Neither of them slept much, but neither of them moved apart. Chapter 4, My World Now. Morning cracked through frost-laced pine branches, the sun throwing a pale gold light across the tent walls. Inside, heat clung like breath, sticky, close, and human. Kevin blinked awake first, feeling the weight of another body pressed tightly to his own. Harry, still asleep, still stubbornly nestled against him, his bare chest rising and falling in slow, steady rhythm. One thick arm lay across Kevin's stomach, heavy and protective, as if by instinct. Kevin didn't dare move. God, he was warm. He let his eyes drift, over the smooth plane of Harry's shoulder, down to the slight dip of his waist where the sleeping bag had slipped. A hint of hip bone, skin flushed with sleep and heat. Stubble brushed his temple, and Kevin felt something dangerous bloom in his chest. Then Harry stirred. A sleepy grunt rumbled from his throat, and his fingers flexed against Kevin's abs before he pulled back suddenly, tense. Eyes opening. Realization settling fast. Shit, Harry muttered, his voice gravel against the morning silence. Kevin smiled, eyes still half-lidded. You're a cuddler. Didn't peg you for one. Harry sat up like he'd been caught naked, which, technically, he almost was. He reached for his shirt with jerky hands, but Kevin stopped him with a touch. Hey, he said softly. You don't have to front. You were freezing last night. You needed warmth. That's human. Harry exhaled hard through his nose, but didn't say anything. There's a cabin about an hour from here, Kevin continued, zipping up the sleeping bag. We can dry off, get a fire going, eat something that isn't protein bars and pride. Harry shot him a sideways glare. You planned a retreat cabin? I plan for a lot of things, Kevin said with a smirk. Especially when I'm dragging an overconfident gym god into the backcountry. The hike was quiet, but not cold. Harry followed Kevin up a narrow slope, slower than the day before, his legs clearly protesting the terrain. The fresh snow softened under their boots. Every few minutes, Kevin glanced back, half to check on Harry, half because he couldn't stop looking. That rugged, scowling face, that raw masculinity, softened now by exhaustion, by weather, by closeness. The cabin appeared like a promise between trees, weathered logs, a stack of chopped wood out front, the metal chimney just visible through the pines. Kevin stepped up, fished out a spare key from under a stone, and pushed the door open. Inside, it was rustic but safe. A small wood stove, a table, a cot, a pull-out couch with wool blankets folded on top. Harry followed, breathing hard, eyes flicking across the room. You sure this isn't some trap to get me naked and grateful? He asked, peeling off his gloves. Kevin smirked. I don't need traps for that. Harry let out a sound, a half-laugh, half-grunt, and dropped his pack. Kevin got to work starting the fire while Harry pulled off his jacket, revealing his soaked thermal shirt stretched tight across his broad chest, fabric clinging to every defined muscle. Take that off, Kevin said, feeding logs into the stove. You're going to get chilled again. Harry hesitated. Then he reached up, tugged the shirt over his head, slow and rough, revealing golden skin flushed pink from cold and effort. Kevin turned to grab a blanket but caught the full view in his periphery. Cut abs, a solid chest rising with each breath, shoulders broad and dusted with sweat-slick skin. Kevin swallowed. His fingers were suddenly a little clumsy with the firewood. You okay? Harry asked, catching the pause. Kevin stood. I should be asking you that. Harry's eyes met his. Something simmered there now, less guarded, more curious. I've been worse, he said. But last night, that was real, Kevin finished for him. No ego, no mirrors. Silence pulsed between them. Then Harry took a slow step forward. You keep getting under my skin. Kevin didn't back up. Maybe I like it there. Harry's breath caught. You think you've got me figured out? No, Kevin said, voice low. But I want to. And that was it. Harry moved first, gripping Kevin's shirt, dragging him forward with a sudden urgency. Their mouths collided, teeth scraping, lips parting with a heat that had been building for days. It wasn't soft. It wasn't slow. It was hungry. Kevin groaned into the kiss, pressing his hips forward. Harry's hands were already beneath his shirt, exploring the hard lines of his stomach, his back. Kevin reached down, palmed Harry's waist, pulled him closer until there was no space left, just heat, pressure, hardness against hardness. They stumbled backward toward the couch. Kevin's shirt came off. Then Harry's pants. Their bodies crashed together again, bare skin meeting in hot, aching contact. Kevin moaned as Harry kissed down his neck, teeth scraping lightly at his collarbone. Still think I'm just a hiker? Kevin panted. Harry looked up, eyes burning. Your trouble. Kevin smiled. Then stop resisting. Harry didn't. And when they finally sank down onto the couch, mouths hungry, hands desperate, they didn't speak another word. Not until the fire burned hot, and so did they. Chapter 5, Cabin Fever. The fire crackled beside them, casting flickers of gold over bare skin and sweat-slicked limbs. Kevin lay on his back on the pull-out couch, breath unsteady, skin flushed, lips parted. Harry hovered over him, shirtless and tense, his chest heaving, eyes locked on Kevin's face like he was trying to figure out what the hell just happened, or what he wanted to do next. Kevin reached up, traced a line down Harry's abs with the back of his fingers. You gonna stay up there all night, or? Harry didn't answer. Instead, he leaned down and kissed him again. Not rushed this time. Slower. Deeper. Kevin moaned softly, arching up into it, hands sliding into Harry's cropped dark hair, pulling him closer. Harry's weight settled over him, warm and solid. Skin on skin. Their cocks brushed, hot, hard, aching. The kiss turned greedy again. Kevin could feel the shift in Harry's body, the control slipping, the tension melting into hunger. Harry's hand slid down, gripping Kevin's thigh and pulling it up around his waist. Kevin wrapped his legs around him, their hips grinding together in rough, desperate rhythm. Fuck, Harry muttered, voice hoarse, mouth brushing Kevin's jaw. You're gonna drive me insane. Kevin gasped, fingers digging into Harry's back. That's the idea. Harry reached between them, wrapped his hand around both of them, stroking them together, slow, firm, slick with sweat. Kevin bucked into his touch, head tipping back with a sharp cry. It was messy. It was intense. It was everything they'd been holding back. Harry pressed his forehead to Kevin's, voice rough in his throat. Tell me to stop. Kevin dragged his nails down Harry's spine. Don't you fucking dare. Harry kissed him again, hard, biting, possessive, and finally pushed inside. Kevin's breath stuttered out, his whole body tensing, then melting. Harry was thick and slow, stretching him with careful pressure, his hands planted firm on either side of Kevin's shoulders, keeping him steady. Kevin's hands roamed over Harry's back, his arms, his jaw, like he couldn't decide what part of him he needed most. The rhythm built, deep and steady at first, then faster, rougher. Harry fucked him like he was trying to exorcise something. Kevin took it all, every thrust, every ragged breath, every groan that spilled from Harry's lips like he hated how good it felt. You feel so fucking good, Harry whispered against Kevin's mouth. So tight, so goddamn hot. Kevin arched, moaned, met every thrust with one of his own. Harder, he gasped. Come on, don't hold back now. Harry didn't. He snapped his hips harder, faster, deeper, until Kevin was clawing at his back, panting into his mouth, eyes squeezed shut. It wasn't just sex anymore. It was a storm, a confession, a fucking reckoning. When they came, it was nearly at the same time. Kevin first, pulsing between them, muscles clenching, body shaking. Harry followed with a low growl, burying himself deep, his body going rigid as he spilled inside. Then everything went quiet. just the sound of their ragged breathing and the fire popping beside them. Harry didn't pull away, didn't say anything. He just lay there, head resting on Kevin's shoulder, their bodies still tangled and hot. Kevin ran a hand through his hair, his chest still rising fast. So much for this doesn't mean anything, huh? Harry didn't answer right away. Then, softly, almost grudgingly, "Shut up." Kevin laughed, breathless and warm. He reached for the blanket hanging from the couch and pulled it over them both. Harry didn't move. Kevin let his hands settle on the back of Harry's neck, fingers tracing the curve of muscle, the soft hairs there. Outside, snow fell in thick, lazy flakes against the cabin windows. Inside, they didn't need words. Not yet. Chapter 6, Something Warmer. The fire was just embers by the time Kevin stirred. Morning light seeped in through the small window above the couch, soft and pale, filtered through snowfall. The cabin was still, hushed, except for the quiet rhythm of breath beside him. Harry hadn't moved. He lay on his side, half curled around Kevin, one arm slung across his waist, the other tucked under his own head. His face was relaxed, unguarded in a way Kevin had never seen before. Peaceful. Real. Kevin took a breath and didn't move. Not yet. He stared at the ceiling, trying to wrap his head around everything that had shifted in just a few hours. Last night hadn't been a slip or a fuck or freeze moment. It had been something else. Something undeniably more. Kevin reached up and brushed his knuckles gently along Harry's jaw. Harry stirred under the touch, muscles tensing slightly before he opened his eyes. Those piercing green eyes with flecks of amber that caught the morning light like fire trapped in glass. They stared at each other. Neither spoke. Kevin broke the silence first, voice soft. "You okay?" Harry's brow twitched. "I should ask you that." Kevin gave a slow, crooked smile. "If I was any more okay, I'd be illegal in certain states." Harry huffed once, a faint sound, halfway between a laugh and a sigh. He looked away, then back, and Kevin watched the fight happen in real time behind his eyes. "You're not going to make this a joke?" Harry asked. "No," Kevin said. "Not if you're not." Another silence. He could feel Harry's fingers twitch against his stomach, just slightly. "I've never—" Harry paused, then tried again. "I don't usually— this— with people." Kevin nodded. "Yeah, I could tell." Harry propped himself up on one elbow, the blanket sliding down to his hips. Kevin's eyes followed the line of his chest, the scatter of freckles on his collarbone, the faint red marks on his neck and shoulders. His marks. "I don't know what this is," Harry admitted. "I just know it's not nothing." Kevin sat up slowly, pulling the blanket with him. "I wasn't planning on falling for the asshole who made me do burpees till I nearly puked." Harry smirked. "You didn't puke." "I nearly did." Their laughter was quiet, warm, easy. It filled the space between them, and for a moment, Kevin forgot how cold the world was outside the walls of that little cabin. Harry reached for his hand, threading their fingers together like it was instinct. "I don't do relationships," he said, eyes focused on the floor. "Not because I don't want to. I just don't know how." Kevin squeezed his hand. "You don't have to know how. You just have to stop running from it." Harry looked up at him, like the thought hadn't occurred to him before. Kevin leaned in, brushing his lips over Harry's, soft and slow. A kiss with no pressure. No heat. Just closeness. Just want. Harry pulled him closer with one arm, the kiss deepening. Not hungry like last night, but needful. They took their time, hands roaming slowly, relearning the feel of each other. When Harry laid Kevin back again, it wasn't about power anymore. It wasn't even about lust. It was about staying. About choosing to stay. Later, they lay in the tangle of blankets, legs draped together, breathing quiet. Kevin rested his head on Harry's shoulder, fingers tracing lazy circles on his chest. "Still think hiking sucks?" he asked. Harry's lips brushed his hair. "Still hate the cold." Kevin smirked. "But you didn't die." "I might have," Harry murmured, voice low and close. "If you weren't there." Kevin looked up at him. "I was always there." Harry met his gaze, and didn't look away this time. Chapter 7, Melt. The snow had started to melt by the time they packed up and left the cabin. Not much, just a sheen of water on the top layer, softening the crunch beneath their boots. But it was enough to make the trail slick, the footing uncertain, a subtle, slow undoing. And Kevin couldn't help but feel it mirrored the quiet shift between them. Harry hadn't said much since they'd left the warmth of the fire. He walked with purpose, eyes forward, breath tight. shoulders stiff beneath his jacket. Not cold, exactly, just guarded. Kevin noticed the distance with every step. The way Harry's hand didn't brush his anymore. The way he didn't laugh when Kevin cracked a joke about frostbite and cabin sex. They hiked in silence most of the way. Kevin didn't push. Not yet. But when they reached the truck parked at the base of the trailhead, its windows rimmed with ice, the world around them crisp and bright and real, Harry finally broke the silence. "Thanks," he said, his voice low, rough. "For the cabin. And everything." Kevin leaned against the door, squinting at him in the winter sun. "That's all you're gonna say?" Harry looked away. "I don't do this, Kevin," he said quietly. "I don't do feelings. Or waking up next to someone and not regretting it." Kevin felt the sting of those words, sharp and sudden. "Well," he said, trying to keep his voice steady, "you kind of did do all that." "I know," Harry said. "That's the problem." Kevin crossed his arms. "No. The problem is, you don't know what to do now, so you're trying to act like last night didn't happen. Like it didn't mean something." Harry's eyes snapped to him, jaw flexing. "It meant something. That's the point. That's why it's complicated." "No, it's not," Kevin said, stepping closer. "You made it uncomplicated. You showed up. You stayed. You let me see you." Harry's mouth opened, then shut again. He shook his head, frustrated. "I've got a job. A reputation. People at that gym see me a certain way. I don't even know how to be anything else." Kevin swallowed hard. "You think I don't get that? You think I haven't spent my life trying to make sure I'm seen a certain way so no one asks questions?" Harry turned away, leaning against the hood of the truck. His breath fogged in front of him. Kevin stepped beside him, quiet now. "I'm not asking for a relationship, Harry. I'm not asking you to shout anything from the rooftops. I just don't want you to pretend like this didn't happen." Harry was silent for a long time. Then, softly, "I'm not pretending." Kevin looked at him. "Then what are you doing?" Harry didn't answer, and that said more than anything. The drive back was quiet. They stopped once, for gas and shitty coffee, and Harry didn't even meet Kevin's eyes when he handed him a cup. When they pulled up in front of Kevin's place, he sat with the door open for a second, fingers wrapped tight around the paper cup. "You ever been scared to want something?" he asked. Harry stared straight ahead, hands still on the wheel. "All the fucking time," he said. Kevin nodded slowly, opened the door, and stepped out. "Guess you'll let me know when you stop being scared." He didn't slam the door. He didn't look back. But behind him, inside the truck, Harry didn't drive away right away. Chapter 8. The Return. The gym felt colder when Harry walked in on Monday morning. He chalked it up to the broken heater in the front lobby. Again, but deep down, he knew better. Kevin wasn't there. Not at his usual time. Not in his usual corner. Not with that casual wave and half-smile Harry had grown used to pretending he didn't care about. And for the first time in a long while, Harry felt his routine unravel just a little. He told himself it didn't matter. But the day dragged. Every shout across the room, every clank of weights, every routine he walked someone through felt mechanical. Hollow. Like he was going through the motions without the part of him that wanted to be there. When Kevin didn't show the next day, or the day after that, Harry stopped pretending. He scrolled through Kevin's blog that night. The newest post was a week old. A photo of snow-covered pines and a long caption about silence, healing, and how sometimes the best part of getting lost is deciding whether you want to be found. Harry read it 3 times. He didn't leave a comment, didn't like the post, didn't message him, but he read it again the next morning, and again after lunch. On Thursday, he caught himself glancing at the front door of the gym every 10 minutes. He snapped at a trainee for leaving sweat on the bench. His coworkers gave him a wide berth. One of the girls on the front desk whispered something about testosterone tantrums. They weren't wrong. By Friday, he couldn't take it anymore. He left the gym early, threw his hoodie on, and drove across town. Kevin's apartment building was tucked behind a bakery, and Harry had to walk past 3 old ladies buying cinnamon rolls just to get to the stairs. He hesitated outside the door, then knocked. No answer. He knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing. He started to turn away when the door opened. Kevin stood there barefoot in jeans and a faded thermal, a mug in his hand. His hair was messy. His eyes were tired. He didn't smile. "What are you doing here?" Harry's mouth opened. Closed. His breath came out cold. Kevin stepped aside before he finished. "You might as well come in if you're going to stand there looking like someone kicked your dog." Harry stepped inside. The apartment smelled like coffee and cedarwood. The heater was on too high, and Harry peeled his hoodie off, suddenly flushed. Kevin didn't sit, just stood by the counter, arms crossed, waiting. "I thought you were ghosting me," Harry said quietly. Kevin arched a brow. "That's rich. You're the one who couldn't get out of my truck fast enough." I didn't know what to say. "You could have started with 'don't go,'" Kevin said, voice low and tired. Harry dragged a hand through his hair. "I didn't know if I should." Kevin took a long sip from his mug. "And now?" Harry looked up at him. Really looked. Now, standing in Kevin's space, with his scent in the air and his voice still laced with hurt, everything Harry had tried to shove down came rushing back. "I don't want to lose this," he said. Kevin looked at him for a long time. "You already did." Harry's heart sank. Kevin set the mug down. "But," he added quietly, "you might still have a shot. If you stop being a coward." Harry took a step forward. "You think I'm a coward?" Kevin didn't move. "I think you're scared. And I think if you don't get over it, you'll spend your life alone." Another step. "And if I'm not scared anymore?" Kevin's voice dropped. "Then kiss me like you mean it." Harry didn't hesitate. He closed the distance, one hand curling around the back of Kevin's neck, the other slipping to his waist as he pulled him in, pressed their lips together, and kissed him deep, like the week apart had hollowed him out, and Kevin was the only thing that could fill the ache. Kevin kissed him back, hard, desperate, angry, relieved. When they finally pulled apart, breathless, Kevin rested his forehead against Harry's. "Next time," he murmured, "don't make me wait." Harry nodded, throat tight. "I won't." Chapter 9, Breaking Point. They didn't speak much after the kiss. Kevin led Harry to the couch, where they sat side by side, thighs brushing. The quiet between them wasn't awkward. It was heavy, loaded, charged with everything they hadn't said and everything they couldn't quite put into words. Harry leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "I'm not good at this." Kevin turned slightly. "At what?" "Letting someone in." He ran a hand down his face. "Being seen." Kevin didn't answer right away. Then he said, "I saw you freezing in that tent. You didn't ask for help. You didn't even admit you were struggling. But I saw it." Harry gave a short, humorless laugh. "Yeah, you brought me in. Carried me, basically. Rubbed warmth back into my limbs like I was about to die." Kevin's voice lowered. "You didn't die." "I don't know if I'm used to that," Harry admitted. "Being saved." Silence again, then Kevin said, "You weren't weak out there. You were just out of your element." "That's not the same thing." Harry turned to him. "You think I'm strong?" Kevin looked right at him. "I think you're terrified and still trying." "That's stronger than anything I've seen in a while." Their eyes held. The heat simmered again, slow, electric. Harry shifted, turning toward Kevin. "So what now?" Kevin set his coffee down, stood, and walked toward the bedroom. After a moment, he looked back. "You coming, or are you going to keep pretending you don't want me?" Harry stood. He followed. The door clicked shut behind them. Kevin backed up toward the bed, eyes never leaving Harry's. "I've wanted this since day one. Even when you were an asshole." Harry swallowed. "I know. I wanted it too. I just didn't know what to do with it." Kevin stepped in, took his hand, and guided it to his chest. "Then let me show you." The kiss this time was slower. Less angry. More certain. Harry's hands explored Kevin's torso, lean, toned, warm under the thermal. He tugged it upward, fingertips brushing skin. Kevin helped him, lifting it over his head and tossing it aside. Then Harry's hoodie came off, followed by his shirt, revealing those broad, gym-hardened muscles, tight abs, and that sculpted chest that Kevin had watched from a distance for weeks. Kevin ran a palm down Harry's torso. "You're built like armor." Harry caught his wrist. "Then break me open." That was all Kevin needed. He shoved Harry gently onto the bed, climbed over him, and their mouths collided again, rougher now, hungrier. Hands roamed, hips ground together, and their bodies began to speak the words they couldn't say aloud. Shirts gone, jeans undone. The friction was maddening. Harry rolled them over, breathing hard. "You sure?" Kevin reached down and finished stripping them both. "I've been sure." There was heat, sweat, skin. Their bodies tangled and moved together like instinct, each touch learning the other, each gasp permission. Harry took his time. The dominant trainer, the man used to control, gave up some of it. Not all, not yet, but enough. Enough to let Kevin feel like he wasn't just being taken, but chosen. Kevin moaned under him, hand fisting in the sheets. "God, Harry." Harry bent, kissed his throat. "Say my name again." Kevin did. Over and over. until Harry couldn't take it anymore. And when they came, twined, panting, holding on, they didn't let go, not even after. Later, when the sweat cooled and the room was dark and quiet again, Harry lay on his side, watching Kevin's face. Kevin's eyes were half-lidded, calm, satisfied. "Do you always make people feel like this?" Harry asked softly. Kevin smiled. "Only the ones I want to keep." Harry swallowed, leaned in, and pressed his lips to Kevin's temple. "I'm still scared," he whispered. Kevin slid closer and whispered back, "Good. Me too." Chapter 10, Everything After. Harry woke first. The bedroom was dim, the early morning light barely creeping through the blinds. Kevin lay beside him, still asleep, mouth slightly parted, hair a mess, arm draped across Harry's bare chest like it belonged there. And maybe it did. Harry stared at the ceiling for a while, listening to the soft rhythm of Kevin's breath, feeling the weight of that arm, the heat of his body, the unfamiliar sense of peace sitting heavy in his chest. He hadn't felt this in years. Maybe never. He didn't want to move, didn't want to break whatever this was. But Kevin stirred a few minutes later, blinking up at him, voice rough from sleep. "You're still here." Harry turned his head. "Yeah." A pause. "Didn't think you would be." Harry's hand found Kevin's under the sheets. "I almost left." Kevin's throat bobbed as he swallowed. "Why didn't you?" Harry looked at him. "Because I knew if I walked out, I wasn't coming back. And I couldn't stand that." Kevin shifted closer, head on Harry's shoulder now. "You're not the same man I met in that gym." Harry exhaled a dry laugh. "You mean the asshole who barked orders and gave you shit for your form?" "You were such a dick," Kevin said, smiling. "I was scared," Harry admitted. "You were this bright, happy, unbothered guy who didn't take my crap. You pushed back, and I hated how much I wanted you." Kevin tilted his head, eyes on Harry's face. "So what do you want now?" Harry didn't flinch this time. "I want to keep seeing you. Not just here. I want to take you out. I want to wake up with you again. I want to learn how to not be so fucking scared every time I feel something real." Kevin's face softened. "You're learning already." Harry kissed him, slow, sure. Not rushed. Just real. When they pulled apart, Kevin grinned. "So, I'm guessing we're done with the whole bully trainer act?" Harry gave him a look. "Oh, I can still be a hard ass. Just not with you." Kevin smirked. Debatable." They lay in silence again, the kind of quiet that didn't press down, but held them. Eventually, Kevin said, "You still hate winter?" Harry nodded. "More than ever." "You'd do it again, though, wouldn't you?" Harry looked at him. "For you? Every damn time." Later that week, Harry walked into the gym during Kevin's session. Kevin was at the squat rack, finishing a set, sweat glistening on his neck. He caught Harry's reflection in the mirror and smirked. "Thought you had the morning off." Harry shrugged. "Changed my mind." Kevin handed off the bar to another trainer, grabbed a towel, and walked over. "What? Missing me already?" Harry leaned close. "I figured I'd make good on that date." "In the middle of my lift?" Harry gave him a slow once-over. "You're already dressed for it." Kevin raised a brow. "For a date?" "Fine," Harry said. "Lunch. Or a walk. Or something that doesn't involve frostbite." Kevin laughed, and for a moment, Harry felt that same heat bloom inside him. Not lust, not adrenaline. Just something simple. Easy. Real. Harry stepped back and held out his hand. "You coming?" Kevin didn't hesitate. He laced their fingers together in front of the whole damn gym. And didn't let go.